And here to discuss the impact that this might all have on the all-important primary where I'm sitting in Florida just 3 days from now, the Miami Herald's Pati Mazzei is with us, and also Communications Director for the Florida Republican Party, Wadi Gaitan, is with us as well. Nice to have you both with us this morning. You've been listening to all of this, Wadi. You heard Marco Rubio, a very frustrated Marco Rubio, talking just a few moments ago. If this happened at an event here in Florida, what would the Republican Party be saying and doing here?
Well, Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio both, interesting, had the same theme to their response, and it's consequences. What we say, what we do, the atmosphere that we create at the rallies, at events, the atmosphere matters. Here in Florida, something very interesting. Thursday, the day before we saw these rallies canceled, is voters here in Florida said that what they liked from the debate is that it was a healthy debate, that there wasn't this combative back and forth. That's what they want to see. It was civil. They want to see that from their presidential candidates. And here at the party, what we say is that tone matters, that each candidate has a responsibility to set the tone in their campaign and in their events, and that's very important.
Marco Rubio just said if Trump is the nominee, it's going to shatter and fracture the Republican Party and the conservative movement. Do you agree?
Oh, what I think is we have strong principles we stand on. And if one of the candidates or if some of the voters find that this candidate does not have our principles, then they need to vote that way. So if Donald Trump doesn't represent some of the things they believe, they should vote that way. So, yes, it will have consequences, but the fact is we're still a united party behind the fact that we want to defeat Hillary Clinton in November. Same
question to you, though, Patricia. He was very blunt, Marco Rubio, in calling out what's happening here and said it's destroying the party. Is that what we're watching happen right now, the Republican Party falling apart?
Well, it took until this rally in Chicago getting canceled and turning into protests for Trump's rivals to use this kind of language against him. I mean, they had an opportunity at Thursday's debate to denounce some of the issues that had happened of violence in his previous rallies, and none of them was that harsh. And so it's really taken them all a while to kind of just say, I'm not sure I can support him. It's getting harder every day.
Right.
And I think that is a sign that the party doesn't want to fracture, but is facing increasing tensions over what to do.
Struggling, potentially, with what to do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Florida, because you cover this state. You both live here. I'll start with Patricia. Do you see everything that we're covering right now having an impact on voters here in Florida? Trump leads here by double digits.
Well, he's having rallies here in South Florida on Sunday and Monday. The one on Monday is at his golf resort. He had a rally there in October that had some tensions already, and this was months ago. One of the protesters got kind of roughed up on his way out. There were several incidents that erupted, and it's not at a venue where you would expect that, right? A fancy golf course. What I saw on social media since last night was interest in Trump, in being motivated if you're a Trump supporter to go support him and try to see him, but also from protesters who say, well, maybe this is an opening for us. And I think that's all going to play out for voters who today, tomorrow, are already going to the polls in the early voting sites.
Do you think Florida voters, and I know you don't take sides in any of this, you're not supporting any particular candidate, but are they entrenched at this point? Have they decided, Trump, Rubio, Cruz, and they're not going to shift? Or could we see a lot of last-minute changes?
No, I think there could be changes. In some of the polls that folks have referenced, there's also a demographic that is still undecided. There are a lot of folks who, here in Florida, it's very obvious, they wait to March 15th. We have early voter and absentee voter, but they're
waiting. You have a lot who've already voted.
Exactly. But there are a lot of people who are still waiting, and it's because they're looking to the last few days. They're looking at the debates. They're looking at what the candidates are saying out of the rally. So I do think this has an impact. What are the candidates? How are they dealing with this situation? And with this atmosphere, it could, in my opinion, have a little bit of a shift, and that could impact the results of March 15th.
Pati Mazzei with the Miami Herald and Wadi Gaitan, Gaitan with the Republican Party here in Florida. Thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it. Marco Rubio condemning incidents of violence in Chicago at a Donald Trump rally.